Entrepreneur podcast for the final time live. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Let's get logged on to this. Yeah, here we go. Let me see if we're live. Yes, looks like we are. Here we go. Let me see. Yes, yeah, we are live. So here we go. Business and Property Entrepreneur podcast. Let me know what platform you are watching and listening in on. Because if you comment, it will tell us. So just comment where you are in the world. That'll be super cool. This is a bit of history. You know, we've now been doing this podcast since 2018. We've done over 250 episodes of this podcast. And this is the last time we are doing it live. The last time. So Luke, you are making history, not just because we're going to give people all the value around crypto and property and how it all works, but also this is the last time we do it live, simply just because Facebook have changed their rules on storage or something, and they delete Facebook Lives after 30 days now. You used to be able to change it to never, but now you cannot do that. So we're going to just go to pre-recorded like everyone else, but we still like to do it like this, and we'll still keep it rough and ready and real. Uncut version, because that's how we like to do it. So let me know, anybody who's watching it, and if you got any questions. Are you already in crypto? Do you invest in crypto? Do you even know what it is? We're gonna like go, you know, in and out of, you know, basics, but if someone's got some more advanced questions, please bring them in. So Luke, let's get started. Big question, which I know anybody listening either now live or, you know, later when it's across all the podcast platforms, is number one, what is it that pulled you into the world of crypto? But then how did you go from having 20K to making 8 figures? I think that's going to be the question on people's minds.
Yeah, it's a long story, but I'll keep it as, you know, short and sweet. We had a business for 20 years before. I felt pretty trapped in that business. I was running it day to day, was making some money, but I always wanted this financial freedom. And along the way, I kind of got into self-development and discovered just a new way of doing things, which brought me into the world of crypto. I sort of thought I discovered it. Back in the day, I remember getting to the internet, and it seemed a massive opportunity to make money. And this felt like a second coming of the internet. It was this new technology that kind of started to excite me. So yeah, with that, I started to kind of slowly invest in it and get to know, you know, kind of all about it. I learned a lot along the way. But I soon discovered that the long-term holding was the best strategy to use. It was like buy these things early and just, you know, hold over time. And I went through a few cycles and just holding it and learning every time that it's very volatile. That's the first thing you have to get used to. It flies up, it can fly up very fast and come back down very fast. And it's very emotionally challenging as well. So for me, it was a management of those emotions and experience, learning, and just really sticking to conviction of which ones you want to invest in over the long term, and then picking sell points to take profits is probably the most important bit.
But so what was the main thing, or what would you say like was the core around being able to go from 20K to 8 figures?
Yeah, I'd say it's having a long-term strategy and spending time in the market over trying to time the market, which a lot of people do. So a lot of people are either getting emotional and not knowing when to sell, or making a decision when to sell and being indecision. So for me, it's all about, you know, when to make the decisions and sticking with that. You know, I always make the decision when I'm buying it, when I'm going to sell it. Not getting too greedy, not going for sort of 1,000x like some people talk of, you know, these meme coins that fly up, and just making decisions to sell at a sensible time, really. What feels good. Yeah,
good. So it's kind of crazy, right? Because like the crypto, as you said, it's very volatile, and I find it, and maybe get your opinion on it as well, I find that it's very fast. You know, and some days, like, you know, you could check it and it's up and it's down and it's this and it's that. Where property is completely the opposite. I mean, we just come back from the Property Entrepreneur Bootcamp, and like what I love about property is like it's slow, but you can still make loads of great money from it. Yeah. But it's like, how do you combine the both? That's what we're going to get to a little bit later. So if anybody watching right now, please do tag at least 10 people, by the way, if you want to be in for winning a chance to get into a free community where we're going to train you for free, like basically over £30,000 worth of training going to be available in there. So, you know, let me know about that. But what was the biggest challenge that you faced on the journey, and how did you overcome it? Like, because like you say, it was a new thing, and there wasn't a lot of regulation around it and so on.
There were lots, yeah. Mainly the security around it, keeping it safe, and the scams around it. There's so many out there. It's like it's like a Wild West at the moment. As you say, there's no regulation, so you've got to you've got to be aware of everything. And it's very clunky, the technology and the way that it works, so it can be very intimidating to use. And also just the knowledge. There's not much knowledge out there. There's lots of people who like to talk on YouTube about it, but people are still discovering it. So it's getting education and knowledge that's key. So for me, it was getting into masterminds, finding those that are experienced that already knew about it, and learning along the way.
And was there ever a point where you thought, hey, listen, maybe it's ran its course and maybe you want to quit or cash out early? Like, did you have any of these thoughts? Or
yeah, that's part of the game. Yeah, it's almost when it feels like it's over and you're in this kind of fear state is the best time to buy. I've just done that again recently, and it's hard. It can be really challenging to actually, get a level head and just say, look, this is the same technology that I bought when it was this much higher. Look at the news objectively and just say, actually, it's just fear, uncertainty, and doubt, what's known as FUD. And you get this in all markets, but in crypto, it's much more amplified. So a lot of people run into the problem of getting over emotional. It's the same on the way up when it's super high as well. You can feel like it's going to go up forever and it's more valuable than cash itself. You hold on to it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I was literally just teaching people. I'm no expert in crypto, but I just use very simple strategies. Yeah. So maybe you could expand on the strategies, in a moment. But, a very simple thing is like make money in property, or you might make money in crypto. But the way I did it was property first. And then, people can then leverage debt against the asset, because banks will lend you money against the property. They're not going to lend you money to invest in crypto. Yeah. So then we get the money, and then we can portion some strategically into the crypto market, which is what I did. And then when crypto market goes up, what I was doing, like in the big booms, I was just waiting for it to go to 200%. And then I would take out my initial investment and take that investment, put it in a new coin, wait for 200%, and then take it out. And sometimes it would take a few months to do that. But then there became a point where like sometimes it would do it in the same day. Yeah, or like a few days or a week. And I found myself like, oh my God, I've got to take it out. And I ended up, and I still have hundreds of coins, which I am, looking to cash out of. I just want to get rid of all of these other coins and just keep the top, 4, 5, or 6 now. Because it was taking my focus. But then obviously take it out of that, put it back into property, use it to go and get more assets. And then when we've got the assets, we've added value to it, then we pull it back out again, and then you can go and put it back in the crypto market. And using them both side by side is basically a way to print money. Yeah. So if anybody's got any questions about that, or you want to say anything about that in the comments, go ahead and do that. Tag at least 10 people, by the way, your friends, family, whatever, so they can hear about this. Because Luke, would you still say that this is still like so many people are still missing out? They don't have to be big investors either, but maybe you can share some easy, strategies and principles that people can just get in and start to get a feel for it and like make money, maybe long term, not trying to time the market, like you say, getting the time in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no better time than now, really, because we've just seen, Bitcoin's pulled back quite a bit, and it's very, we can never be absolutely certain what the market's going to do in the future, but it does seem like it's going to rhyme and do what it's always done, which is the parabolic move up at the end, what you were talking about, where it's almost like printing money. It goes so fast, you're just making money every day. And the bull cycle, what we call the bull cycle, always ends like this. It goes parabolic at the end, which is due this year. So, you've got to be prepared for that, because if you end up buying into it, you're going to get over emotional, and you'll be buying into it going upwards and miss the actual profits take inside. So you've got to this is the time to prepare and be ready. And you do that really by, firstly, you've got to get education on it. You've got to understand how it all works. You've got to understand how do you turn your fiat currency into crypto. And many people know this already, but when you know, that can be challenging. Secondly, you've got to create a diversified portfolio. You don't want to take too much risk, but you don't want to be too safe. If you're just investing in Bitcoin, it's hard to make anything like a 5x on that, because that's, very sort of liquid now and well known. So it might only 2 to 3x from here. What else? I guess mostly it's planning, decision making, and mindset are the three things that I focus on around my sort of mastermind groups. Just being prepared for the emotions of the ups and downs, and not selling too soon, but not selling too late, and making some clear targets.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same for anything. Like if people try to do it by, even if you do property by yourself, even sometimes just doing your own fitness regime by yourself, sometimes, you know, you can take yourself out of the game. Hey, look, we've got a question here. Larissa, yeah, she was at the boot camp that we just had. You know, what's the minimum amount that somebody could start to invest?
Well, for crypto, you can put something like $100 in just to get started, or £50, whatever currency we're talking, and you can do that at what's known as a CEX, which is a centralized exchange. But common ones like Coinbase or Kraken are really popular, especially in the UK or all around the world, really, for Coinbase. I recommend Kraken. I think that's a very good CEX in terms of customer service. They actually, like, these tech companies can have problems responding, whereas this one actually does if you have a problem. And yeah, just get set up. It's very much like setting a bank account up. You have to do KYC, know your customer, and you can just buy some from there. And then, you know, second step, just get educated more, because there's further steps after that where you want to keep it safe and take custody of it and so on.
I mean, my opinion is it's a lot easier now than it was, because I remember when I first was doing it back in 2017, it was like I needed this ledger, and there were these complicated freaking codes, and, like, you know, how to buy it and take it off. Like, it was a whole process. You know, now you can basically download your app, you know, get your money from the bank, you know, into the exchange, and then, you know, basically exchange it for the coin that you obviously want, right? And like you say, if you test it with just small amounts, get your head around it, but then get some education, get some training on, you know, what is the market doing, and
yeah, exactly that. Yeah, it's like you say, it's a bit almost like a workout. If you've got a workout, you've got a plan, but you still got to do it. So it's just practice. Just get started is the biggest part for most people. Just have a go.
Yeah. So I would say, look, my advice, I don't know what your advice is, but let me give my 2 pence first, Luke, and then I want to ask you. Sure. Is I think anybody should, like, this week and the next 2 weeks, like, if you don't have any coins at all, just put a £50, £100 in there and just give it a blast, and, you know, give it a go. Just buy a Bitcoin that we know that is going to go up. By how much, obviously, we don't know, but we know it's obviously going to go up. And just at least then you're in the game. Even if you don't do anything with it for the next 6 months, at least you've now started and you've got something happening. You know, what would your advice be around that?
Yeah, similar. I think, yeah, getting started is the biggest challenge for most people. Just you know, clicking the buttons and getting on that website and getting set up. And it's sometimes challenging with the uncertainty around money. People feel, you know, it's something they don't trust, but it is becoming more accepted, especially if you go into safer ones like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. You know, the most common ones, XRP, etc. These feel like they're more here to stay now, with things like ETFs, and you know, the whole mindset around it now has changed a lot. Like you say, back in 2017, there was still a lot of uncertainty. I think it's here to stay now. So I think you can feel safe to put up a little bit in and have a go.
Yeah. And I think the people who were in the game back then, people like me and you and a lot of other people, we're also now got a bit more of an eye for the scam. So I don't know about you, but I got scammed a couple of times where genuinely I thought, wow, this is a gold mine. I mean, one of my investments, you know, back then, like, you buy these packages, right? And then these packages, they compound. And I was like 3,000% are like up.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this is magic. And then all of a sudden they said, oh, you know, we're changing over to this different platform. It's going to be package 2.0, you know, and all of this stuff. And for months and months, like, it was missing. I couldn't I could log in, but there was nothing there, because they kept saying, oh, it's going to go over to this new version. And then you know, like a year later, they were just like gone.
Yeah, this is common. Yeah, you get a lot of these. Yeah, third parties. What the position you really don't want to be in crypto is you want to take custody of it yourself. So you've got control over it. That's the beauty of it, and that's why it was invented. So, you know, as you talk about the ledger and things like that, you want to take custody of it, and that's the place where you want to get to.
So, Luke, if you was just to give us the real layman terms of, like, you know, having the system, you know, so obviously you can be safe around it. like just give us a quick step-by-step of how someone could get their head around, even if they knew nothing about it. Like, how could someone get their money into some kind of coin and at least, you know, start to have a look at what it would start to do?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you can go for, I'd probably go to either kraken.com or coinbase.com. Two choices, and sign up an account. It's really easy to do. You'll find you'll need a passport or some ID. And they'll ask you some questions. They maybe make you take a photo, selfie, and all this sort of stuff. You know, like they do on these platforms, like KYC. It takes you about 30 minutes. Once you've signed up there, they'll ask you for the bank account details you want to link it to, and then you can transfer your $100 or whatever you're putting in. And from there, there'll be a buy button where you can just buy the list of cryptos that they're actually listed on the exchange. And Bitcoin will definitely be on there, as well as many of the popular ones. And it is a safe site to use in that way. From that point, it'll be stored on that platform. And then you really want to look into the next step is getting it off there. And that's going, you know, start there though. Start by just getting someone, maybe Coinbase and Kraken.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is you get something like what about crypto.com? Is that good as well?
Yeah, crypto.com's good as well. Yeah.
So
one of the big ones. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good to, like, you know, I see them advertising around football stadiums and stuff like that. It gives me the confidence that, like, hey, you know, you've got a reputation to uphold here. So you see, you basically get a platform, and if people are worried, you know, maybe you can even open up a little sub account or a saving account or whatever, and you know, you just put your $100 in that, and you link that account. You know, maybe you don't want it. You maybe don't want it to your full, you know, bank account or whatever. That, you know, all your money.
I mean, you can do like manual bank transfer as well, so you don't have to link your bank account up as such. It's just basically they want to do your KYC and know what bank account's got your name on for money. You know, it's like a bank almost, but yeah, it's the safe, definitely safe.
Yeah.
What's not safe is building up a portfolio and leaving it on there though. That's the most important thing. You don't want 5-10K on there because they can lock you out sometimes. So that's my advice, is to get it off there once you've got it, you know, eventually.
Yeah. But a lot of people still do leave it on there, right?
Yeah. You hear these, I have clients all the time that come to me and they've had something like 20K on there, and Coinbase asking them a bunch of questions, and it's kind of hard to get it off. So I always say get it off and store it on a ledger or hardware wallet is one of the most important steps. We always teach in the fundamentals.
Yeah. And we've got a question here on YouTube saying, what's the options on Binance? Now, I know I use Binance, and I've got a lot on Binance. But then all of a sudden, their relationship with UK banks.
Yeah, you can't onboard now from there, so you can't put fiat to crypto on Binance. It got stopped. You can send crypto there and kind of swap it for other cryptos, but you can't actually go fiat currency to, you know, pounds, dollars to crypto. They just don't allow it. So, yeah.
So I don't know if this is still a question for this person who's asking here, but you know, so if I've got it on Binance, am I now best to send it from Binance to something like crypto.com? Yeah, if I've got an account there, and then put it into my bank if I want to draw the cash.
Yeah, you just need to use an exchange that supports you going back to the bank. Yeah, so you could take profits in a stable coin, for example, USDC. I'm getting a bit technical here if you're new to it, but if you want to take profits and you want to sell the crypto, you could turn it into USDC, send it to another exchange, or just send the actual crypto to the other exchange. But you have to know that the other exchange supports that crypto you've got. So for example, you might find one on Binance that's not on Coinbase, so you won't be able to sell it.
Yeah, so just to help, because obviously there's the thing, when you're in it all the time, obviously you know, you get to know. I also like to keep everything layman, especially when I'm teaching people with property as well. So like when you say stable coin, what you're meaning is obviously there's no volatility because it just stays, you know, dollar for dollar.
Yeah, it's basically a crypto that stays pegged to the US dollar. So it's a great way to take profits or swap it into something that most exchanges will support.
Yeah. So if I'm someone who's got money on one exchange, I can change it. Should I change it to USDC first and then send it to another crypto? Or like, what's the cheapest way with the little bits of fees they charge?
I don't think it really matters what you change it to. It's more making sure, say, Binance can have a lot more tokens on their exchange. So you might have a token that say crypto.com don't support, so you won't be able to send it. So another way is just turn it into another crypto that they do support.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Would it be best to say like, right, I've got all these coins on Binance. I'm going to turn them all into USDC.
Yeah, you could do.
And then once it's all on there, then I will send that to crypto.com. And once it's on there, then I can change it to fiat and withdraw it.
And withdraw it, yeah. That's perfect. You could do it that way, especially if you're going to intend to sell it, yeah.
Yeah, and that's not by doing it like, because then I'm converting coin to coin, then I'm exchanging from platform to platform. That's not going to cause me extra fees, is it?
No, it shouldn't do. There's always fees on these exchanges, but it shouldn't be anything extra. No.
Yeah. And the biggest fees I've seen, unless you can say otherwise, is when you want to turn the crypto back into fiat.
Yeah, it's a good percentage of the take. Yeah.
Yeah. So what can people do about that? Because I've seen sometimes it's working out like 5-6%.
I don't think at the moment there's much you can do about the onboarding. I call it I use the exchanges to on ramp and off ramp. I call it on ramping and off ramping. And when you turn fiat to crypto and back again, there's just no other way to sort of find a way to avoid those fees. They all charge roughly about the same. I forget the percentages. I'm pretty sure it's about 1% on the way in, but I think it's more on the way out. But it's just part of the game, really. You make big profits in crypto, and that's what they charge. Yeah.
Yeah, and they want you to keep it in there, right?
Yeah.
So what about like reinvestment and tax strategies? Like, what's your advice around that? Because some people might be like, because if you put it in and then you want to take it out, obviously it's classed as income, right?
Yeah, depending on what, I don't know. I'm not, tax expert, but from my experience that I've had, it's different for every country. But it's usually just the same as property. So it's capital gains tax on it. So on the profit itself. There's many ways that people kind of avoid that, but accountants are best at that. And you also get taxed when you swap cryptos into other cryptos if you've made a profit. So it's something to be aware of. It's not just when you turn it back to fiat. But there's strategies that people know to avoid that. I think you can help. Property can help in that way. I've heard, in different ways.
Yeah, I mean that's what's amazing about property because, I think what I've seen is people, they want to make the money from crypto. So like when the market starts getting volatile, going up and down and so on, and they're like, oh no, like my money that I need to take, so then they panic and then he's like, well, I best just get out now.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't do that because obviously I make my money from property anyway. Yeah. So then the cash flow coming from property, money we make from property allows me to just keep it in crypto no matter what's going. So if it does go down, it's like, okay, we'll just it's okay. We'll just wait for it to go back up. Even if it takes a year, I don't care.
Yeah.
But what would your advice be around like, how people can be creative if they're, like, how do your guys do it who maybe are not in property as of yet?
In terms of taking profits?
Yeah.
For me, I mean, the main strategy is going, it runs in cycles. So, you have the bull and bear markets, which at the moment are lasting every 4 years. At the moment, we kind of maybe 6 months to a year off the top, what we call the top of the cycle. So you want to be buying at the bottoms and selling at the top, but it's easier said than done because nobody knows what that top is and nobody knows what the bottom is. And the goal is just to buy low and sell high. And it sounds obvious, but because crypto is so volatile, the emotions kick in. Like you said, you kind of can panic or and I think it's important just to remember that as long as you don't sell it, you're not lost anything. And as long as you actually do sell it at some point, you've made something. It's okay to just look at paper gains when you can see you made, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, but it's so volatile, it doesn't matter.
You're not made hundreds of thousands if it goes back
until
down.
You cash it out, until you cash it out. And I've learned that the hard way many times, on the way up and down.
Yeah, but then again, it's what you said earlier, and it goes back to the mindset, and getting sucked in. Because before crypto, I was investing in companies and stock shares, and I did a bit of trading, but it's too much work for me, and it was boring. I wasn't into that. So, but like the mindset of like getting greedy, or getting too fearful, So like, what could people do to manage that?
Self-development and mindset's key, I think. Managing your state. I've done a lot of self-development work and I've learned a lot on that. And I definitely say it becomes it's almost a great playground for that because the emotional ride's massive. You can really get caught up in it if you're not careful. At the height of the market last time, people were doing some crazy stuff, tattooing token logos on the bodies. It was never going down again. And it gets you to a point that they're so hyped up that they think it's more valuable than the money itself. The token becomes more valuable. So they get stuck in this trap of, like you say, the greed of it going higher. So it's always good to manage the emotions by, once you've made your plan, what feels good, where do I want to get out here? If you've put 20k in, is a 5x good, is a 2x, 3x good? What will you be happy with? What's life changing to you? And that's what we do a lot of work in education. We get a vision very clear on what we want before it's gone to that point of the euphoria when you're at the top. And we've not been there yet. That's why I feel confident it's going to go back up this year in a way that's probably a lot faster than it's been so far. Because I really strongly believe that history don't, well, they say history don't repeat, it rhymes, but I think it's the human mindset repeats. People do the same things over and over again throughout history, and they'll do it again, because when it starts going up fast, they'll do the same thing that's always done.
Yeah, but even in December, it went up pretty quick, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it got quite. It didn't get to the point like it did last time the Friends in. Will it do that again? We don't know, but I'd imagine it will if it gets, because there's so much more bullish news at the minute. Countries are getting involved. The President of the United States likes it. They're supporting. They made the SEC back off on crypto. There's really positive news. I mean, it's almost like a crossbow being drawn back, but it's not been let go yet. It's the euphoria has not been allowed to sort of go to the point, and I think it will. I've got, we don't know for definite, but I feel it will. Is that a question that just pops up?
Yeah, we've got a good question. Is it good to do dollar cost averaging?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, same dollar cost average in and out is a great strategy. Like in our mastermind, we're all setting targets at different levels. So we're selling maybe 10%, 10-15% first, and then the 15% and 30%, and saving some for even what we call a moonshot. So last 5 or 10%, just in case it's one of those ones that does 1,000x, because they sometimes do, which is a crazy return you don't want to miss out on. But if you're not even saving some for that, you're going to regret it afterwards.
Yeah, and in some coins, what I did was I let it go up. I took 2x out, so initial money plus basically double out, and then I just leave it. Yeah, because like even if it goes to zero now, I didn't lose. Yeah. So and by the way, some of the coins I did go to zero.
Yeah, some will. Yeah,
but it's okay. Yeah. So just for anyone watching who don't know what that dollar cost averaging is, meaning just like, hey, listen, when it goes down, you buy more. When it goes up, you still buy, but you buy less, and then overall it brings your average down. Yeah, very simple. And by the way, that's what I've done, because I don't like to trade and I don't like, timing the market. I mean, for me, it looks like it's near on impossible anyway. I don't know if it is impossible or people can do it or whatever, but for me, I just leave it in, it's going up. And, when it does come out, we want to put it into property, then we do it.
Yeah. I mean, the key to it, I say, is anticipating the trends. There's trends and narratives and stories about what this stuff could do in the future. If you catch a trend, that can be really, valuable. It's okay staying in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Sol, and it's a more guaranteed return. But if you want to get some of the big gains, if you can anticipate the trends, and we've seen these already, like NFTs and meme coins and DeFi, these trends tend to rise up very fast. If you can catch those well, you can really make some good gains in that way. So it's education and knowledge around it.
Like just with a yes or no answer, would you say that's gambling?
No, I don't think so. If you're into it enough, because that's what I spend all my time doing, it's analysing and anticipating where the market can go and what's going to add value. Because that's speculation, so it can be, yeah.
So that's my next question. If you're saying no, it's not gambling, then how do we make it not gambling?
Yeah, by education and learning about the market. On the fundamentals training that I do, we discover the crypto vision first and go back in history where it's been, look where it is now, and then start to look how we can anticipate where it could go in the future. It's having a vision for what the trends could be and what's going to be useful and add value to the world ultimately, because it will go there eventually. It will get adopted at some point. And if you can find the next Google or Amazon in the terms of crypto project, you can get some real gains, and it can take time.
Yeah.
Do
you have any knowledge or insight around BitTorrent?
BitTorrent, yeah, I remember that years ago. It was used to download files with big copies of music and things like that. And I think recently, Justin Sun bought that. There's a crypto project called Tron. So BitTorrent, I think they've turned it into a token. I'm not super knowledgeable on it. I don't hold it, but yeah, that's what I know about it. It's to download peer-to-peer file downloading, and the blockchain works pretty much in the same way.
So are you saying that people who own Tron now own Bitcoin?
Yeah, Tron blockchain was created by a guy called Justin Sun. I think he bought the BitTorrent business. If my memory serves right, I'm pretty sure he did. And then he tokenized it in some way and created a token, I think. Yeah.
It's something that did quite well back in the day when I first bought it, and I have billions of those coins. So like, if it just went to $1, I'd be happy.
This is the thing, isn't it? Yeah.
So
some of these tokens, you don't need $1. You know, you can get they are you can have trillions of them, and it goes up a bit, and you can make a lot. So it's worth diversifying broadly, but you do need the knowledge on what they all do to put the pieces together, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, good. I've got one last question here.
Sure.
Mark, when you put it into properties, is there a tax to pay? Yeah, so it depends how you're structuring it, whether you use your business. Sometimes I use business, do it through my business, and some of it is done through my personal, because there's tax advantages and disadvantages for both. But as Luke was saying earlier, there's like the inside knowledge with the accountant, how to make it work, how does it kind of stack up to the rest of the business that you're doing, and so on. And that's all we can say when we are streaming live, visible to everybody. Yeah. So Luke, fantastic to have you on. We've got our Business Monday session for our private community happening, so we do have to get this wrapped up. But is there any final words that you'd like to say for some people that maybe not have got started, or to get them moved in the right direction on this crypto train?
Yeah, if you need help getting started, I'm more than happy to help. I do free workshops all the time. If you need more information, they're usually like 90 minutes, and yeah, I'm happy to help anybody with that, and do a session if anybody's interested. I love helping people get into it safely, because you can, as you say, make a lot of mistakes along the way. Yeah, but thanks for having me on. Definitely,
yeah, great to have you on. It's a great subject. I think more people need to know how to make the both crypto and property work together. And thanks for everybody for watching. This is the last time we are doing the podcast live. For those people that missed that, and the reason is Facebook changed their rules around it, so we're doing pre-recorded ones from now on. But we've done over 250 episodes, so we will keep it going. It's valuable for people. I want to bring people the latest news in business, property, entrepreneurship, and changing the game. So Luke, thank you for coming on. Thank you for everybody watching. Until next time, do the right thing for the right reason. It's the only way you discover your true potential.